Don King and Bob Arum present Cotto and Mayorga. Dzinziruk jumps to 160 pounds, and we will be joined live by Bob Arum and Don King.
We love you, Canada.
This is the Fight Network's preview show of all the action coming up this weekend. Hey there, fight fans. Welcome to the Fight Network's preview show of Cotto versus Mayorga taking place this weekend. John Randine is going to be stopping by as we look ahead to Bellator Season 4, which continues this weekend with the kickoff of their lightweight tournament, as well as MFL 4, which will be taking place in Montreal, Quebec. But we start things off with a defense of the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship that's coming up this weekend. Miguel Cotto makes the first defense of his WBA Super Welterweight Championship this Saturday night as the 35-2 Puerto Rican meets trash-talking Nicaraguan Ricardo Mayorga, who has only fought once since September of 2008 and enters his fight with a record of 29-7-1.
Miguel Cotto era bueno cuando estaba más joven, peleaba 35 y 40, pero 47 y 54, él está engañado de su vida.
His best moments, his best time in his career when he was fighting 35-40, but when he came up to 47-54, that's where he made a mistake.
Me entrené con el corazón y voy a venir a noquear a Miguel Cotto de verdad para que se retire para siempre.
I trained from the heart, I put 100% in, and I'm coming here not only to beat Cotto, but to knock him out.
Y estoy apostando mucho, yo mismo en el casino estoy apostando mucho que lo voy a noquear.
And I'm putting money on myself that I'm going to knock him out.
La gente en el mundo ha comentado de dos promotores, de Bob Arum y de Don King.
People around the world only know of the two greatest promoters of all time, which is Don King and Bob Arum.
Ganando y noqueando a Miguel Cotto yo.
By beating and knocking Cotto out,
le voy a poner una firma en el mundo entero que Don King es el número 1 y Bob Arum es el número 2.
I'm putting a stamp on this fight after my victory that Don is the best promoter and Bob is number 2.
La mayoría de los boricuas me van a aplaudir a mí cuando yo suba al ring. Y cuando gane, peor. Todos los boricuas van a tirar hasta cohetes, de hidraca, bombas, de alegre.
Coming into the ring, the majority of all Puerto Ricans that are going to be watching the fight live are going to be on my side. And after the fight, the ones that weren't on my side will be on my side.
Para el señor, Jimmy, quiero que anuncie fuerte cuando yo me corone por cuarta vez campeón del mundo.
Jimmy, I ask you a favor. When you introduce me as the new world champion, do it with all your heart. 4-time world champion.
I'm here for win. I'm pretty comfortable with my preparation. I'm pretty good with Emmanuel on my corner. If you send Ricardo Mayorga to the mics, the only thing you can expect is idiots. You know, nothing else. Thank you, and hopefully we see all of you in Vegas next weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, we just...
It's a clash between Central American pugilists vying for the WBA light middleweight gold in Sin City. Nicaraguan smack talker Ricardo Mayorga takes another stab at the limelight when he attempts to take out multiple-time champion Miguel Cotto. With the title and Latin pride on the line, Mayorga's machismo shifted into high gear. The master trash talker was first to strike in the inevitable war of words.
Lo voy a noquear para demostrarle a todo el pueblo de Nicaragua y a toda la gente que vive aquí en Estados Unidos que yo soy mejor que él.
Unfazed by an exchange, the soft-spoken Puerto Rican retaliated with his own verbal combo.
Payaso. Un payaso. Es lo que ha sido toda tu carrera.
Rising the ranks with a number of KO and TKO victories under his belt, Cotto has demonstrated his technical style in defeating some of the sweet science's best.
Everybody loves the KO, you know, everybody loves to stop his opponent in any moment of the fight.
All right, this was an all-Cotto round, and here we can see where Sav is in the corner here. There's 1, 2.
If I catch my opponent with a good hand, I'm going for him.
Cotto has been successful where his opponent has not, and this factor gives him a mental edge on Saturday night.
Left hand by Cotto. Cotto storming back with a tremendous straight left.
With fearlessness in the face of a flurry, Cotto has pegged a fan-friendly fighter. However, it is a notion he may opt out of against the brawling bad boy.
Take Mayorga getting serious. He hurt him with that right hand.
It's a personality that matches his in-ring flair.
There he nails it again with a left hook. There's a second one. He said, go ahead.
Cotto-Mayorga captured middleweight and welterweight gold in the early half of the previous decade. At 37 years of age, his showmanship in the theater of the sweet science has gone a long way in earning him marquee matchups at this point in his career. In recent performances, however, Mayorga's bark has been worse than his bite. As a result, his positioning as a title contender has been questioned. Nonetheless, the ferocious aggressor has the ability to end the fight if he connects.
My mother's birthday's coming up. I'm giving her a knockout for a present, and he's trying to do it in the first round.
It presents difficulties for any fighter because he's such a wild man in the ring.
But he will have to contend with Cotto's finesse and signature left hook if he wishes to survive.
Absolutely right. When Cotto lands his left hook, as he just did there, it moves Shane Mosley.
On Saturday night, it will be time to put up or shut up as an aging matador attempts to back up his smack talk.
First time going to fight someone that is as small as a kid. I think my pants are taller than you.
On the other side of the ring, primed and ready Boricua fights to defend his honor and legacy.
The guy from Nicaragua is not coming to make love to him. He's coming in at the fight. So Miguel, get ready.
You know, Mayorga has only fought once in the last couple of years, and clearly he's not quite the fighter that Miguel Cotto is. There's no question about that. Cotto is the more skilled fighter. His resume is a little deeper. But even at age 37, Mayorga presents a very interesting challenge to Cotto. Cotto's only had one fight at 154 pounds. That was the fight against Yuri Foreman. And Yuri Foreman did not get injured. I think most of us feel it was going to be a pretty close and interesting fight. So, given that, you have to say that the boost up in weight for Cotto against a Mayorga who has some power makes this very interesting. What I think we're going to get from this is 4 to 6 rounds of hellacious action, and then somebody's going to fall.
In his first bout since his knockout of the year over Paul Williams, WBC middleweight champion Sergio Martinez will meet undefeated Ukrainian Sergiy Dzinziruk, who is coming up in weight for this middleweight bout with an impressive 37-0 record and lots to prove at 160 pounds. This Saturday night, Sergiy Dzinziruk will take a similar path to opponent Sergio Martinez when the Ukrainian-born Dzinziruk moves up to 160 pounds to seek out higher-profile bouts, with this Saturday's affair in Connecticut representing that quest. The 35-year-old has dominated at 154 pounds, going 37-0 over his 11-year career, but did so under the shadow of Europe, where his name was relegated to the diehards, and finally fought in the U.S. last May, stopping Daniel Dawson in 10 rounds before agreeing to make the move up in weight for the first time in his career for this advantageous situation against one of the hottest stars of 2010. 46-2 Sergio Martinez wrote the blueprint that Dzinziruk is following, himself a former junior middleweight who amassed a strong record fighting in South America before entering the United States and moving up to 160 pounds and would fluctuate between weight classes. His coming out party came in 2009, proving he could hang with Kermit Citron and the highly avoided Paul Williams. Despite a majority draw and loss, he would build on those fights in 2010 with a destruction of Kelly Pavlik and then scoring the knockout of the year in November in a rematch with Williams that solidified his spot amongst the top middleweights in the world.
Good left hand, and down goes Williams.
He's not getting up, guys.
Not getting up.
That is the knockout of the year, if nothing else.
Dzinziruk, who has recently brought in new trainer Buddy McGirt to prepare for the awkward style of Martinez, has gone on record stating he doesn't feel Martinez is anyone special and expects to surprise the doubters who question the move up in weight with such a dangerous opponent welcoming him to the world of 160 pounds. Martinez is refusing to take this challenge without some concern, going so far as to bring in Daniel Santos to prepare, the man that lost the WBO junior middleweight gold to Dzinziruk back in 2005. For fans of the sport, this is one of the most anticipated bouts of the year, representing a challenge for Martinez that doesn't enter with a lot of sizzle, but a dangerous fighter who has everything at stake.
He is a clone of Sergio Martinez in every conceivable way, in style, in the way his career has gone, and that's what makes him, I think, a very dangerous man for Martinez to fight. Yes, he's coming up in weight, and that's where Martinez has the advantage, but we all know Martinez came up in weight as well, as you pointed out. The big thing about this fight is Martinez is facing a lefty who has many of the same skills he has, and this is a very difficult fight for Sergio Martinez. And it's a high-risk, low-reward kind of a fight. I know he's probably getting paid a lot of money from HBO for this fight, and that's good, but but it's still not a mega fight. And it's a very interesting fight. I don't see this as an easy fight for Sergio Martinez. Dzinziruk is a very, very talented fighter.
When we return, it's over to mixed martial arts action as Bellator kicks off their lightweight tournament featuring Razor Rob McCullough, Toby Amata, and many more of Bellator's 155-pound weight class. Last weekend, 4 men advanced as Bellator kicked off their welterweight tournament, and this weekend the promotion heads to Shreveport, Louisiana as their lightweight tournament begins with 8 of their top lightweights.
The lightweight tournament quarterfinals kick off this Saturday at Bellator 36 in Shreveport, Louisiana. The winner of the 8-man tournament will be awarded $100,000 and a shot at the winner of the lightweight title clash, pitting Eddie Alvarez against last season's tournament winner, Pat Curran. After earning his tournament spot with a split decision win over UFC veteran Rich Clemente, Greg Jackson student Kerry Vanier is matched up against undefeated Dog Pound Fight Team pupil Lloyd Woodard. The cage sport veteran Woodard will likely take this fight to the canvas in his Bellator debut, as he has submitted 6 of his 10 career victims. Since losing 3 of his last 5 fights, which ultimately led to his WEC release, former WEC lightweight champion Razor Rob McCullough enters the lightweight tournament after back-to-back victories. Fans can expect a slugfest, as his opponent Patricky Pitbull Frete has won 4 of his 7 career victories by knockout. Dubbed as the prodigy of Polish MMA, 19-year-old Marcin Held makes his Bellator debut with an impressive 10-1 record. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt boasts 5 submission victories, while his opponent, Extreme Couture prodigy Michael Chandler, has gone 2-0 under the Bellator banner, both first-round stoppages. Finally, after a controversial no contest in his last fight against UFC veteran Hermes Franca, Team Tompkins pupil Farad Kadir makes his Bellator debut against 32-year-old freestyle fighter Toby Amata.
Vanier rolling! He tapped, and he tapped, that is it! Toby Amata takes that arm, and man, if he didn't tap, he'd take it home with him. Beautiful job by Toby Amata.
The Victory MMA pupil has gone the distance only twice in his career, with 19 of his 28 wins coming by way of submission.
Straight arm bar. Oh, he's saying tap, that's the tap, that is it! Quality victory for Toby Amata.
Amata is the most experienced competitor in the tournament, and he's considered by many pundits as the favorite to take it all. Lightweight tournament action kicks off this Saturday night from the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium, live on MTV2.
Joining us now is John Ramdine as we look ahead to Bellator, which continues Season 4 this weekend with the start of their lightweight tournament in Shreveport, Louisiana. And up first, John, we have Toby Amata. He's going to be in action against Farad Keeter, a very exciting submission fighter in Toby Amata, who has put some highlight reel finishes together in Bellator.
Yeah, in 2009, he earned the submission of the year with his beautiful topside triangle over Jorge Masvidal. A very creative fighter, but he's taking in a very durable and a very skilled fighter in Farad Keeter. The guy has solid stand-up skills as well as a judo black belt, so it's a very interesting matchup. I think that Keeter could be the dark horse to win this entire tournament.
As we move on, one of the favorites for sure in this tournament is Razor Rob McCullough, who's making his Bellator debut this coming Saturday, and he's going to be in action against Brazilian Patricky Frete.
Yeah, what's interesting is Rob McCullough does have the experience in this fight. You know, he's a former WEC champion, has world-class stand-up skills, but I think Frete could be another dark horse as well. This kid is a youngster who is, he has incredible skills, and he fights exactly like his younger brother, and I think he really could take it to Rob McCullough. If he puts this fight down to the ground, I don't see any reason why he can't emerge victorious.
The opening round continues with Jackson submission fighting the product Kerry Vanier. He's going to be in action against Lloyd Cupcake Woodard.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Vanier's fight. I mean, anybody that comes out of the Jackson camp, you know they're always prepared. And I say Jackson, it should be Jackson and Winklejohn. These two guys work together and produce some of the best fighters in the world, and I think Kerry Vanier is one of the guys that's going to emerge victorious.
And I think if he can finish him, that would just be icing on the cupcake. And the opening round concludes with 19-year-old prospect Marcin Held fighting out of Poland. He's going to be in action against the veteran at 24 years of age, Mike Chandler.
What I like is Chandler has fought for Bellator before, so he knows what it's like to be under the bright lights. For Held, what's interesting is you look at his record, he's 10-1. I think it's very key that he's able to bounce back from a loss and, again, showcase his skill set. And it's very interesting because he is 19 years of age, and it showcases the new breed of fighter. These guys are starting younger and younger, and I think, again, we'll see two guys going at it and trying to put on a show for Bellator.
Putting you on the hot seat, John Ramdine, I want your favorite to win this tournament and who's a dark horse people should be watching.
Again, I think Farad Keeter is definitely the dark horse, and I think Frete is also a guy that could go very far. I know Rob McCullough has the experience, he has the skills, but I think it's the younger breed of guys that are really going to win this tournament.
When we come back, two of the most powerful promoters in all of boxing are going to be joining us, Don King and Bob Arum. Joining us right now are two men that we never thought we would have together here on the Fight Network. We have Bob Arum from Top Rank Promotions, joined by Don King from Don King Productions. And first of all, guys, thanks for joining us. My first question is for you, Don, and how unlikely this alliance was, as the two of you have not put together a fight for the past 6 years.
Well, let me say this. He bared witness to what would generate more income, more excitement, and he would be able to have his guy, Cotto, get a guy that's a radical, that's really crazy, and you don't know what he's going to do next, and go in there and use his name because he's a 3-time former world champion, and then he goes in and Cotto jumps up and go back and get Margarita with less fanfare and less criticism. That's how smart he is. He's way down the line looking at all these things. But he caught me at a very propitious time when I was getting ready to sign for Felix Sturm to try to bring Mayorga back, taking him to Germany. He offered Cotto, and Cotto, Viva Puerto Rico, Viva Puerto Rico. This was something that was so enticing, so seductive, that I couldn't turn it down. He gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. So now I signs up to this thing, but what he didn't know is that if we're going down the line and we were just going to be served up like fruits and nuts and a nice cake on a little tart on the thing, then he can move on. He offered something, we talked in conversation, and he got to Manny Pacquiao. When he said that, Mayorga's head went around spinning like a top, did the rim bam boogie and never stopped. He came down, he was ready. He said, now I'm going after Manny Pacquiao. I said, what about Cotto? I'm going to knock him out. So that fight was a spiritual revelation of Bob's ingenuity and understanding how to get the guilt. He knew what was happening. That's what happened, and we got a fight here now, and now it is a major event. It is history. I'm telling you, boy, it's going to be one of the best fights you've ever seen. That's one thing we both can attest to. We have to have no fear or apprehension about it being a dull fight. You're running around, running like Jesse Owens around the ring. These guys are going to fight. And who's going to win? Mayorga, but you can say whoever wins, the public is going to be the real victor. They're going to get a great evening of boxing with a great card. So look forward to it. Call now and get your pay-per-view. So be ready because you can't be here on the scene. Check it out on the screen.
Yeah, and
Viva Puerto Rico.
And the card that people will see on the pay-per-view is spectacular. Former champion and future rabbi Yuri Foreman.
Shalom, shalom, mazel tov.
Fights Paul Wallach, a Polish young man from New Jersey. There's a lightweight championship. Miguel Vasquez against Lenny Zappa, undefeated Australian. And then Tommy Zibikowski, the former Notre Dame football captain.
Notre Dame!
And now
we love you, Notre Dame!
The safety for the Baltimore Ravens, an all-pro special teamer. He is returning to boxing. He was a great amateur, and he's fighting on the card. So it's a great, great event. And the people in Canada, in Ontario, Toronto, of course, province of Ontario, are able to see a terrific event on pay-per-view television.
And finally, Don, as we head into this fight, a lot of people never thought that Bob Arum and Don King could make a deal together. Was it harder putting this deal together or working with Vince McMahon in 1998?
Well, you know, with Vince McMahon, you know, from the time of his wrestling, and, you know, that's pure entertainment. They do not try to be ambiguous about it. They lay it out there like it is. Boxing is a sense of man-to-man, el mano, if you speak Espanol. And it's something that you got to be able to deal with because it's the problems of life. It is not choreographed. It is not programmed by design and intention. When you put two guys in the ring to fight, it's altogether different because the one has got to try to be victorious over the other. And if he gets run out of gas, there is no gas station in sight. He can't call time out and sit in a substitute. He's got to be able to deal with his problem forthrightly, right before his eyes is what his problems is. He can't put it off for mañana. He can't procrastinate. He's got to deal with it. That's why boxing is so indigenous to life. And so what you have here is a difference of what a planned entertainment. You get a script, say, take two, let's do that one again. You can't do this like that with boxing. You can do it again only when there's a dispute after the end of the fight, like I tried to do with Tito and Oscar, and Bob had Oscar, and he went insane there, and he pulled the plug on me, and all those different things. You have to understand, I want to do it again, but we couldn't do it again. I want that dance to go over again. In boxing, you settle the dispute in the ring with the gloves on, and we'll find out who was the best man. So now, I love you, Canada.
Now, before you get off the air, Don and I want to call out a dear friend that we both did business with, our good friend Irving Ungerman from Toronto.
Yes,
Irving, I hope you're in good health.
Irving Ungerman, the best chickens in the world. You know what I mean? He was great. Yes, and that was the man of the days of George Chavallo and all the guys from up there in Canada. But I love Canada especially because it was the North Light, where my predecessors, the slaves, would try to escape on the Underground Railroad. They would go to Canada. And so Canada's always been a dilly hill in my heart, and all of us of color. You know what I mean? When we were fighting that evil, precarious institution in Canada, was the bright light that shined in the North. So we love you, Canada. If you're in Montreal, and we also did a big fight up there in Montreal with Sugar Ray Leonard, you know what I mean, and Roberto Duran. We? Yes, merci, monsieur, mademoiselle, yes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We wish you the best of success this coming Saturday night. It's a fight that has generated a lot of interest and a lot coming from you two gentlemen.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
That's all for this week, everybody. We hope you enjoy all of the action coming up this weekend, including Miguel Cotto and Ricardo Mayorga, who will do battle on Saturday night. For everybody here at the Fight Network, Extreme Couture Toronto, I'm John Pollock. Thanks a lot for watching, and enjoy the fights.
Yo voy a ganar, yo soy el villano, yo soy el mejor, yo soy el bueno. El que quiera ganar plata, que apueste a mí, no a Miguel Cotto.
All right, this is an all Cotto round, and here we can see where Sab's in the corner here. There's 1, 2, 3.
My mother's birthday's coming up. I'm giving her a knockout for a present, and he's trying to do it in the first